Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler. Today, I'm your host. You ever feel like you're getting punished for being loyal? Well, WWE just cut a move to move all of its biggest events, WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, to ESPN's new streaming app. And you know how much it's going to cost? $29.99 per month. That's almost double what we're paying right now on Peacock here in America, but here's the kicker. You can't even watch Raw. You can't watch SmackDown. You can't watch NXT. It's not a bundle. It's just a bill. That's what it's turning into. Whether it's your first time here, you're watching live or on demand, or you're listening to the audio-only replay, this podcast is fully interactive. I want you to put your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear from you. I don't just talk to you. I talk with you. We talk together. And my voice is still kind of gone from SummerSlam. But you know what? We're going to do our best. Coming up today, we're going to talk about how this makes it harder for wrestling fans to discover WWE. Why the theater deal that they had with SummerSlam might be a deal of a lifetime, and what this says about WWE's priorities about the fans heading into 2026. Well, we've gone from spending $9.99 per month way back in the day. What was it, 2014, 2013, when the WWE Network launched? And in just a little bit over a decade, it's not going to be $30 a month. Now it's like, I feel like we're not getting more value here. The way it used to look back in the day, it was such a big thing. Such a big thing. The WWE Network is going to be $9.99. You get to watch all the PLEs, or pay-per-views at the time. You get to watch them all. You get the whole entire, library. You can watch the first WrestleMania. You know why? Because you ain't have nothing better to do. They gave you that ability with the original WWE Network. At $9.99 per month, I felt like we were getting a lot of value. But at $30 now, I'm not even sure if we're getting the same exact value. The question I have for you, do you think that this pricing model makes sense for WWE only fans? I'm going to be transparent. The only sport that I watch is wrestling. I was bored last night, not going to lie. I was bored last night and I was watching Slap Fight, which is also under the TKO banner run by UFC, or, cousins or third cousins to WWE. I was watching that because I was bored. But it's not something that I watch on a regular. I also watch Dodgeball. When I tell you I was bored last night, I was bored. I watched Dodgeball, not the movie, but the sport. And would I be willing to pay $30 to watch that on ESPN? I don't think so. If you ask me, I am a WWE only fan, right? And if anything else I watch on TV, I watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, and those things are going to streaming starting this season. But WWE Network, they 100% changed the game. Y'all remember, if you're old enough, if you're about 40 years old like me, I'm almost 40. I'm in the almost 40 club. Birthday's at the end of the month. You remember when you had to go back in the day to your friend's house to go watch the PLE, the pay-per-view? I used to throw parties back in the day. It used to be like $5 to come in, $10 to come in. You get pizza, you get 2 slices of pizza and a drink. It was just so that I can help watch the PLE too. And I didn't have to eat the whole entire $30, $40 or $50 if it was WrestleMania on the cable bill myself. For $9.99, what WWE Network gave us was they gave us SummerSlam. They gave us WrestleMania, they gave us the NXT takeovers, and they gave us classic content. But then what happened was that WWE, they went to Peacock. Yeah, I personally don't think that Peacock was the best move. Yeah. The reason why I don't think Peacock was the best move is because it was harder to navigate as compared to the original WWE Network. You could just type in your favorite wrestler, and you could just type in Stone Cold Steve Austin versus, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. They would give you that exact match. But the way it works on Peacock is that when you typed in that same exact information, what it would give you is the whole entire event, and you would have to scrub the event to find it yourself. It's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I wanted. Peacock upped it slightly, though. They started charging $9.99. And for that same exact $9.99, what I would get is now it's like $10.99 now for the lowest plan. I have like the middle tier plan. It's like $16 and change. But what I'm paying for is the ability to watch Law & Order SVU whenever I want it. I'm paying to watch maybe old episodes of The Weakest Link. All right, fine. Whoop-de-doo. Maybe that's just worth it just a little bit. No problem. And I could get my WWE too and watch a classic pay-per-view. I don't think that Peacock was too bad of a deal. Like I said, it's not as user-friendly as the WWE Network or even Netflix right now, because if you work or if you're doing something to where you can't sit there when the event starts, when you go to Peacock, you can't start over. Depending on how far you went in there, you can't start over. So what they do is that they punish us for having a real life, for having a job, for having a family. I hope that this new ESPN app, it gives us the ability to do that, because WWE getting rid of the WWE Network and going to Peacock was the first step at WWE selling their soul. Everybody talks about that TKO is pricing fans out of the market. WWE was the first person to start it. This was before they went over to TKO. This is when they were just their own standalone company. I think that by WWE going to ESPN, they're making it too hard for the regular fan to watch. This new streaming app by ESPN, it's not a WWE only app. It's just like Netflix. $29.99 per month for everything and not just wrestling. From what I understand, you're going to be able to get NFL too. If you like NFL, that's great. It's probably a good money for you. UFC, if you like to see people get punched in the face, which I don't mind, because I did watch the slap fighting yesterday, and I say this. I thought about doing slap fighting last night watching it for like a tenth of a second. And I said to myself, I am not going to position myself anywhere to where I'm going to let another grown-ass man slap the shit out of me for money. It's not happening. It's not happening. But Disney, the owners of ESPN, they want to own sports via their ESPN brand. If it is anything that you can consider a sport, you're going to be able to find it on the ESPN app. Watch. That's what they want. They want curling. They want, they got UFC. They're going to have WWE in 2026. What's next? Shuffleboard, chess, poker, checkers. Will this change drive people back to how it used to be back in the day? And if you don't know, back in the day, people used to pirate these events. What people used to do back in the day is that people used to, you get a little box, or, when technology evolved, you can go online on the internet and watch it. My problem to why I can't fully get into AEW is because, one of the reasons why I can't get into AEW, we're not going to go too much deep into that, because the PLEs, the pay-per-view events are too expensive. I'm not willing to spend $40 as a casual fan. So what about the casual fan who said, ooh, I saw a couple clips on YouTube. Oh, I accidentally stumbled across Raw on Netflix. I want to pay the PLE. Are they willing to spend the extra money? Listen, I don't want every sport. And you watching as well, too, you might not want every sport. My main sport, like I said, is pro wrestling. That's what I watch. I don't care about curling. I don't care about chess. And I don't care about people getting slapped in the face via slap fight. That's not what I care about. But if ESPN wants to own sports, then they should take TNA and they should take AEW and put it all in the app for ESPN. Then I can say, you know what? Maybe it'll be worth my $30 a month. I'll pay it without hesitation. But just for the WWE and a few other extra sports, honestly, I'm not sure right now. Could this backfire like cable bundles? You're looking at me like, what the hell is a cable bundle? Don't you remember back in the day, not so distant future, maybe like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that when you signed up for cable, you had to get the triple play. You had to get the television, you had to get the cable, and you had to get the phone. Now what happened? It evolved that you don't need the cell phone, you don't need the phone, because cell phones made home phones obsolete. You don't need the TV because streaming made it obsolete. So what happened? So now most of us are sitting in our house with internet plans and no cable bill, right? Because we didn't want to pay the cable bill, but our cable bill is still over $100. Our whole entire bill is still over $100 a month. Why? Because we have to get all these a la carte streaming apps just to watch the damn TV. So what's going to happen with this whole entire thing now with ESPN? I think that if WWE was to go anywhere, they could have done a pay-per-view model and then done it like on something like YouTube, because I'm telling you that the biggest streaming platform in the world is here on YouTube. Don't let anybody bamboozle you, flim-flam you, or scam you to think anything different. They're talking about Netflix and chill. It's supposed to be YouTube and chill. But wait, there is another way to watch WWE without paying $30 a month. It's not perfect. But it's close. So I talked about it maybe last week or the week before, that WWE and Fandango, not the wrestler, the ticket place where you buy tickets for the movie, WWE and Fandango, they were testing PLEs in select Regal cinemas in America, and they started with SummerSlam 2025. Is this a fan-friendly solution that we may have been asking for? I want to know, whether you're watching live or on demand, would you spend your money to go watch a PLE in a movie theater? From my research, I saw that it was about $25. It's less than $30. But the question that you're asking me right now is, Tristan, if you're going to spend $30 to go watch just one event in a movie theater, why not spend $30 to get the PLE in your house and other television shows at the same time? That's not the point. That is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this. I went to SummerSlam this past weekend, and I went to both nights, Saturday and Sunday. And could I have watched it for much cheaper in my house? Yeah. Could I have watched it in my underwear? And eat anything that I wanted to eat? Yeah. I could have, but it's all about the camaraderie. It's all about the being around the people. If I'm going to spend $30 just for one event, I don't mind spending that $30 and sitting around with other fans. It was fun to get the chair. I don't get the chair in my house. I don't get to be a fan in my house because the neighbors go and call the cops because I'm like, why is that grown-ass man yelling? That's why I do the podcast. Doing 12 o'clock in the afternoon or early morning when they're all gone to work so they won't call the cops and think I'm crazy. See? I'm smart. Always thinking ahead. The thing, though, with SummerSlam being shown at select Regal cinemas is that it was not available in New York City. I'm talking about an option that you can use other than having to pay $30 to ESPN. It was not available in New York City, and I think a part of the problem was that it might have been just too close to MetLife Stadium. You weren't able to find it in New York City. You weren't able to find it in New Jersey. But if I went to Arizona, I would have found it, but I'm not going to go to Arizona to go watch it. They had ticket options. You can buy a single night or a two-night bundle with a T-shirt. Yeah, that's nice. I'm going to spend $30 to go get a T-shirt. Not bad, though, but I still get to hang out with my friends. But you're not going to get the T-shirt right away. You're going to have to mail in and get the T-shirt. Great. The $25 to $30 pricing is almost the same as ESPN's new direct-to-consumer DTC app, but it's a one-time experience. You won't get the ability to replay it unless you take a picture and a video of it in your mind. Here is my thing that I ask, though. Here is my big problem. It's all about the casual fans. Because listen, I want us to be honest with everybody watching this right now or listening, however you're consuming this. It's not just about you. It's about everybody else. It's not just about everybody else. It's about the people who don't even watch WWE, who might have been a fan way back in the day and they want to watch again. You're probably like, well, fine. Why do we care about them? They stopped watching. Because the bigger WWE gets, the better of a programming that we get in the whole entire pro wrestling industry does well as a whole. But my issue now is that now that they're doing so good and they're doing so great, they sold their souls to ESPN, and now they want to take $30 out of my pocket? Like I said, going to the movie theater to go watch WWE programming, I think it's great because, you get that camaraderie with the fans. You get to sit down with like-minded people and you get to cheer, you get to laugh, you get to cry, you get to express your emotions. I don't care what anybody says. There's nothing like seeing it live and in person because it's a movement. It's special. It's different to sit there and watch it live and in person. Because when you are watching WWE live and in person, you're a part of a concert, you're at a Broadway play, you get to see them change the sets. So it's worth it to go in person, but is it worth it to pay $30 a month if you're just going to watch WWE? Is it worth it to pay $30 a month if you're going to just watch WWE and ESPN, or is it worth it to pay almost $30 a month to go to a movie theater? I don't know. I'm asking in a poll right now, and if you're watching on a device that is not a TV to where you can interact, here's the question that I'm asking you. Are WWE events on ESPN worth the $30 per month? Knowing that you're going to get every single thing for $30 a month, is it worth it? Right now, half the group says no, half the group says not sure. I'm going to be honest with you. We've been spoiled. You know how long we've been spoiled? We've been spoiled since we've been getting WWE Network for $9.99. When WWE was setting the standard and saying that we are going to charge $40 a month, but for WrestleMania we're going to charge you $50. WWE said, hold my beer, hold my steel chair, because we're going to flip the game. We're going to make it $9.99. I've been spoiled to only pay $9.99. I've been spoiled to be accustomed that for $120 a year, I can watch all the WWE that I want, including the live PLEs. But now I'm going to have to sell my soul to ESPN. I'm not sure if I want to do that. Because, back in the day, you used to be able to have blast areas. Maybe blast areas would come back. Oh, what's a blast area, Tristan? Well, a blast area is where you get the ability. We watch WrestleMania, me and my friends watch WrestleMania 23 in a Hooters bar. And when they made the announcement that WrestleMania was coming to town next year, the roof off the Hooters blew off. You were able to go to bars or bowling alleys or wherever it was on a random Sunday night during not football season, and the bar would pay for it. They would get the revenue and the food and whatnot just for you to sit and watch in a blast area. Back in the day, they had closed circuit TV. I think the closest thing that we're going to get to closed circuit TV is going to watch it at the cinemas, at the theaters. Like I said, there's nothing watching it live in person, but I'm not sure about that $30. Not sure about that $30. Just got another vote in. Are WWE events on ESPN worth the $30 per month? This is why you got to watch this live. It's 75% no and 25% not sure. Not sure because maybe you're waiting to see what happens. Well, I got some of the details right now, and I'm going to give you all of the details so that you know what to expect when WWE goes to ESPN in 2026. But even with the theaters, what about people who missed the show or work during the event? Are we left with no affordable options? Listen, I think that ESPN, with this new direct-to-consumer app, where they're going to have the NFL, where they're going to have the WWE starting in 2026 and getting rid of Peacock, I think it's great for sport fans. I think it's fabulous for sport fans. But it's awful for the casual fans, and it's awful for the people who just watch wrestling. Listen, there are people just like me who, look, I can't name one. Don't ask me to name one. If you put a gun to my head and say name one basketball player right now, I can't name one. If you put one to my head and say, you know what, name one person in the NFL Hall of Fame. I don't know who's in the NFL Hall of Fame, but I can tell you main events for WrestleManias. I can tell you, that John Cena and Cody Rhodes, they have the record for the longest match in WWE history in MetLife Stadium. They have that. It's almost, 37 minutes and 10 seconds? I can recite things like that off the top of my head. I don't know jack about football. When my friend Greg used to invite me to his house to come watch football. Look, brother, the only reason I was there was for the food. And he knew that. When you invite me to your house to come watch the NFL, to come watch the Super Bowl, I'm only coming for the food. I don't care if they kill each other. I'm just there for the food. WWE, it used to be accessible. Free TV. The WWE Network for $9.99. YouTube content. Used to be able to watch it on YouTube. You can still watch clips on YouTube. But let me tell you what it looks like now. It looks like you're going to get Raw, SmackDown on cable. This is for America. Because a lot of y'all outside of America, y'all living it good right now. You're probably looking at this Yankee, me, and saying, oh, what is that Yankee complaining about? Maybe he should just move to another country. Maybe I should, but I don't want to go to Canada because I don't like the cold. SmackDown. You're going to have to get that on cable. Raw. Then you're going to have to pay a Netflix bill. And now ESPN is going to be getting all the PLE events, and it's going to be $29.99 for WWE's PLEs. I just can't wait for you to suck the money out of my pockets, because that's what I lived my whole entire life for you to suck my money off my pockets. Look, cover your kids' ears, because I feel like I'm crashing out. I'm going to be crashing out for a second. When I said that I wanted to get sucked dry in high school, this is not what I wanted. I apologize if I said this and your kids were listening. When I say such, I'm just talking about like collecting money out of your wallet. That's all I'm talking about right now. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about nothing else. I'm not talking about let's just move on. For me to get SmackDown, I have Sling TV. I don't think it's worth it for me to have YouTube TV paying almost $90 a month. I don't think it's worth it for me to have regular cable TV paying $90 a month just to watch SmackDown on USA Network on Fridays. So for me, that costs me $50 a month. For me to have Netflix is what? Netflix is what? $16, $17 a month? Maybe $18, almost $20 a month? And now I'm going to spend $30 on the ESPN app just so that y'all can yank $30 out of my pocket? That's $100 a month just to watch WWE. And then you still want me, when you come to my town, to go buy a ticket to go see your event? WWE, have you lost your mind? TKO, have you lost your mind? And then you want me to buy a t-shirt too? A t-shirt. You want me to buy a $40 t-shirt that says the last time is now, and it's in Jets green color at your arena. When I go to the arena, y'all still want me to buy a popcorn because I'm there from 3 o'clock in the afternoon and y'all hold me hostage till 10 p.m. I can't starve to death. I did see the couple in front of me, though. They did sneak in little, Crustable sandwiches and their own little food and stuff like that. That's nice. That's smart. Maybe next time I'll think of that. But this ESPN deal, it only covers the PLEs. It doesn't cover any classic content. So where is the classic content going to go? If it's your first time here, I'm going to tell you where it's going to go. If you've been here before, I'm going to tell you where it's. If you've been here before, you already know where it's going to go. It's at the WWE Vault. What is WWE Vault, Tristan? Semi-retired pro wrestler and your host of the Tristan Law Show? I will tell you. WWE Vault is the best YouTube channel on YouTube. If you like pro wrestling, don't go look it up now. But when you go there, you tell them in the comments that Tristan Law sent you. WWE has been quietly for the past year and change uploading events there, uploading full WrestleManias, uploading full SmackDowns. They even have one called WCW Vault. What they're doing is that they're cutting out the middleman. So now they can go and send that stuff to ESPN, right? The PLEs to ESPN, and then they have to worry about cutting in ESPN. But now, when they do it on the YouTube, they don't have to cut nobody in. They collect all of the ad revenue themselves and put it right in their pocket. And while they're showing it to you on WWE Vault, they're showing you to go buy a ticket to this show. They're showing you that, oh, go watch this video. They're sending you every which way. WWE's creating an ecosystem for themselves. So if you want classic content, the way that you're going to find classic content is that you're going to find it at WWE Vault. That's the place to where you have to go. ESPN is not getting that, and it's going away from Peacock. So now, when you search certain things on YouTube, you're going to see WWE Vault. Subscribe to the channel. Because if you are looking to watch classic WWE content, it's not going to be on Peacock anymore. It is going to be on the ESPN app. And you know who is the country that still gets to get everything so great? Everyone that's not America. The guy that's in the White House right now is talking about making America great again. Why the hell are we paying so much for PLEs? Why is it that we can't get it at an affordable price? Why is it that maybe that's what happened. Triple H had to go down to the White House last week to go kiss Donald Trump's ass. And now we're getting ready to pay $30 a month just to watch pro wrestling. Bravo, Triple H. Bravo. Triple H used to be my favorite wrestler. And now I don't know how I feel about you these days. I don't know how I feel about you these days, Triple H. You are the game, Triple H. You are the king of king. You are the cerebral assassin, but you're also a crook. You're taking the money out of my pocket. I went from paying $9.99 per month just to get all the Triple H fix that I want. Now for me to see you come out and spit water in New Age, I'm going to have to spend $30 to ESPN. Can new fans still fall in love with pro wrestling the way that we did? Let me tell you how I fell in love with pro wrestling. The way I fell in love with pro wrestling was I saw my grandfather watching WWF Superstars in his bedroom back in like 89, 90. I was 4 or 5 years old, and my grandfather was watching, and I was enamored. I couldn't believe what he was watching, and the characters were larger than life. We had Hogan. We had Macho Man. It might have been closer to 91 because we had The Undertaker as well, too. How do new fans fall in love with pro wrestling? As a person that is not sure about things, I'm not just going to spend $30 on ESPN to go watch a WWE PLE because I'm curious. Curiosity killed the cat, but it also cost the cat some money as well too. And I don't got the money to spend. We're getting more votes in. Are WWE events on ESPN worth the $30 per month? 80% said no, and 20% said not sure. Feel free to put a comment into the comments. If you want something that you got to say it before I sign off because I'm going to read it. I make you a part of the show. Where can new fans casually find a product? Like kids, teens, or lapsed fans? Fans that used to watch and fans don't watch anymore. When I was a kid, the way I used to watch was on television. You would change the TV and you would accidentally find pro wrestling. What about, okay, yeah, fine. Maybe everybody has Netflix, but I didn't have Netflix for a couple years. That was until Monday Night Raw came on Netflix. Other than that, if something wanted to come on Netflix and I want to watch it, I'd get it and I'd cancel it. That was it. So where's everybody going to fall in love with wrestling now? Yeah. Sorry, my voice is still gone from SummerSlam. Kids and teen, when I was a teenager, oh, that was my time. I couldn't get enough of the WWE. Let me rephrase that. I couldn't get enough of pro wrestling. I used to get the WWF magazine. I used to get Raw magazine. I used to get WCW magazine. I used to get ECW magazine. I guess the new way that has changed is now streaming. Maybe I could just type in my favorite wrestler, but if I don't know it's there, how am I going to find it? I used to go into the store when I was going to school, and I would buy candy. I was telling my friend the other day, that came down to watch SummerSlam. We both went to MetLife Stadium together. And I was saying to him, yo, back in the day, $1 would bring me to the store and I could buy a cake, I could buy chips, and I could buy a thing of juice. That was a little juice. I could buy 3 things for $1 in total. Now, if I'm buying that same exact thing, it might be like $3, right? Maybe almost $4. So it's like, when you go into the store in these age, you're not seeing magazines. WWE closed their magazine division years ago. It went from traditional print, and I'm sure I knew why they had to go from traditional print to digital, because they had little like knuckleheads like me, ripping them off. But they went digital because the world changed to digital. Now it doesn't exist anymore. If you want to consume WWE, the only way for you to do it now, I guess, is through YouTube. We got a message from G Holler 718. What's the move for Disney when it comes to sports, thinking about their recent acquisition? I mentioned it earlier. Thank you so much for your comment, G Holler 718. The thing about ESPN, about Disney just wants to own sports. They look, listen to the monopoly that Disney has. When you think theme parks, you think Disney. When you think cartoons, you think Disney. Your favorite comic books, the Marvel, the Avengers, the Fantastic Four movie that I watched last week. Who owns them? Disney. Spider-Man, Disney. They own the rights to show NFL now. Disney. Underneath the ESPN brand. WWE now, Disney. You want to when Disney used ESPN to launch the ESPN Plus app or whatever it was, what did they put on the back of that? UFC. Disney just wants to own everything. Disney just wants to put their money in our pocket. You know what? Look, I got a 2-year-old. Gee, Holla, I never seen your name before. I think you're new here. Welcome to the show. I got a 2-year-old. My 2-year-old's going to want to go to Disney. My 2-year-old is likes Disney, right? My 2-year-old is probably going to watch wrestling one day or going to want to watch basketball. It's inevitable. They are forcing me to have to spend the $30 because I don't want my son to be like, well, Daddy, why we can't watch basketball at your house? Because I don't got no ESPN $30 a month money. That's why. Thank you for your comment, G. Holla. So, select PLEs will be available on regular television. That is what ESPN said. Select PLEs. Look, if you're thinking that you're going to get WrestleMania, if you're going to get SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank for free on regular ESPN television, don't hold your breath. What's going on, Universal? Thank you so much for joining me. Spider-Man is Sony, not Disney. But isn't he in the Disney movies? Or there was like, right, because it had something to do with Wolverine. Look, I don't watch the cartoons. My bad. But Disney wants to own everything. If Disney could own Spider-Man, I'm sure they would. They're greedy. So you're going to be able to get select WWE PLEs on ESPN television. It's not your WrestleMania. It's not your SummerSlam. It's not your Royal Rumble. Maybe what WWE might do, because I heard is that they were thinking about doing 2 nights for major PLEs. So maybe now you're going to get that. It's going to be like, well, you know, for $30, I can get 2 nights of wrestling back to back. When I say it out loud, it feels like less and less of a bad deal. The votes are coming in. Are WWE events on ESPN worth $30 a month? Right now, 62% say no, 0% say yes, and 38% say not sure. I want somebody to say yes. I want somebody to say yes and explain it to me. Universal right now, who we think might be an insider in the WWE, we're not sure. I want Universal to maintain kayfabe at all times. I always said if Universal ever sees me in public, I want to know that it's Universal, but I promise I will keep your identity a secret. So Universal's breaking it down so we can understand a little bit right now. So we'll wait for that to come in and we'll look back in the chat. But we're going to be able to watch select PLEs on regular television. Okay, that's fine. Maybe they give us a little bit free, you know, but that's how they're going to sucker us in. All right, fine. Maybe we'll get these free and eventually we'll get to go spend the $30. You know, okay, fine. If that's the case, I will spend $30 for 1 month just to watch SummerSlam. But when I'm done, I'm cutting it off. I'm not going to be keeping it. What am I keeping it for? Maybe WWE, they do a real good job these days with putting clips on YouTube ASAP. The second it drops right now, the second something happens in WWE, it's on YouTube right away. So they're doing a good job. They're building up the fan base digitally. Somebody might accidentally see it because the way the YouTube algorithm works is that most of you have probably only ever found me because, you know, YouTube recommended you. YouTube said, hey, you might like this Crash Out guy. You might. Check him out and see how you feel. I don't know. So it might be good for casual or new fans to check out WWE, but for the long term, I don't think it's good for long-term fans. All right, let's see. Universal put the whole thing in there. So he said, Universal says, let me share with you. Endeavor, the company that owns TKO, which owns WWE, UFC, and Slap Fight, they're $4 billion in debt. They need to make a lot of money to get rid of the debt. They're going to do 2-night PLEs for Rumble, Mania, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series in 2026. Okay. The ESPN deal starts in January 2026 before the Royal Rumble 2-night pay-per-view. Understand now? It's purely about making money. Look, you know what, Universal? Let me give you a hand clap. I don't think I ever gave you a hand clap before. As a businessman, as a man that understands business, I know at the end of the day, that's all about making money. It is. It only makes sense, right? It's all about making money. I have stocks in TKO. I want TKO to do well. I just don't want regular fans to get priced out, because you know what? The way that, it takes for somebody to make $1 and for $1, like $1 can't really buy you nothing in these days, right? Back in the day when I was a kid, $20 was a lot of money. And I'm only talking about, I'm about to be 40. So like 15 years ago, $20 is a lot of money. Now $20 is a little bit of money. If I lose $20 today, I'm not as mad as me losing $100. $20, I'm like, damn, I can't find that $20 where I put it. All right, no problem. Universal says that ESPN is losing money. Disney bought ESPN at a very low price because ESPN was in major debt, billions. And Endeavor is also billions in debt. Endeavor may get sold to Disney or Vince McMahon. Look, man, imagine it coming full circle and Vince McMahon buys Endeavor. Imagine that, because Vince McMahon was ousted from the WWE because of all the stuff that went on and whatnot, which is not what we're going to be talking about today. There wasn't even no plan for me to even do an episode today. But when I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:02 a.m., and I saw that this was squeaked out at 6 a.m., I said I got to talk about it. You know why? Because WWE is doing this so it flies underneath the radar. Well, it's not going to fly underneath the radar if anybody here watching the Tristan Law Show, you might subscribe to the Tristan Law Show, no, because we're talking about it. WWE's current model favors hardcore fans, maybe rich fans, but it used to convert casual fans with ease. Listen, Peacock was good for casual fans, because where else can you watch all the episodes of Law & Order SVU to your heart's content and WWE content? Peacock. In 2026, it's going to be on ESPN with sports and wrestling. Like I said before, I can't name one player who plays for the NBA right now. I know there's a guy that had the same name like me, Tristan Thompson. So, okay, how do I have stocks in TKO? You're going to make me check, because I know I have stocks. I'm going to check right now. Maybe it's Endeavor. Hold on, I'm checking right now. Please log in again. Nope, we're not going to sign up. Log me in. Log me in. Send me the code. Okay. All right, disclosure. Yeah. All the disclosures. I'm not here for that. I want to look at my wallet. Invest. Nope. Okay, fine. Got it. I know I have some stocks in something. I don't want to lie and make it look like, okay, here's what I got in my personal portfolio. I have TKO, yeah? I have a TKO. It's a TKO stock, and it's 40% of my portfolio. So, I guess, I don't know how I'm invested in it. Maybe something I'm going to check when I'm done. I don't know. But I'm not a sports guy. Let me tell you a story about the time that I met Roger Clemens. I used to work at Universal Orlando way back in the day when Jesus was a child. And where I used to work was right in the Jaws area of Universal Orlando, where they used to throw the rings. I was working the ring games, the carnival games. And one day a guy was there and everybody was just like standing around looking at him. And he was playing the game with his family. He was pulling out stacks of money to play the game. So I go up to the guy and I'm like, bro, why is somebody here looking at you? You got a stack of money. Like, what do you do? He goes, oh, I used to play baseball. I said, oh, okay, cool. So then I go to help somebody else on the other side, and while he's playing, and they go, you don't know who that is? I go, no, who is that? They go, Roger Clemens. I said, oh, crap, I know Roger Clemens. So I go over now using the information that I had previously and the information that I had now. And I said, now I want to talk to Roger Clemens, because I get the opportunity to talk to somebody that's famous when I'm just the 19, 20-year-old guy working at the rings game at Universal Orlando. And I say, hey, Roger Clemens, I hope you and the Yankees do good this year. He said, yeah, I haven't played for the Yankees in years. Yeah, I felt stupid. I walked away. My point is that I don't know sports. There was also a picture that was taken with Roger Clemens. Some guy said, here's the joke, right? Some guy said, hey, Roger, can I take a picture of you? And Roger Clemens looks at me and said, kid, come over here. Come take a picture with me. You can stand in it. It's not going to be worth much. Piece of shit, right? But look at me, Tristan Law, the host of the Tristan Law Show, semi-retired pro wrestler, and one of the fastest growing YouTube personalities to talk about pro wrestling. So you know what, Roger Clemens, maybe one day you'll eat your words. Maybe one day I'll find that picture. Maybe the person that went to Universal that took that photo of me working in the ring games with Roger Clemens is a wrestling fan, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see that picture. I've never seen it. But what would I do if I was in charge of this rollout? And one thing WWE has forgotten that made the WWE network so powerful, I'm going to tell you. But right now I'm still looking at the poll. Are WWE events on ESPN worth $30 per month? 62% say no, 38% say not sure, and 0% say yes. Look, I'm doing a really good job with the poll today. I usually neglect the poll. Watch your mouth. Here's how WWE can make this transition smoother, fairer, and actually grow their base. Offer standalone PLEs. Just give me the ability just to buy a PLE. I'm willing to pay $20 a month for the PLEs. That's for non-subscriber. Don't take my money. Don't make me subscribe. Just say, you know what? Just take $20 a month and I just want to watch PLE. Because you know what? I'm already paying $16 and change to watch on Peacock here in America. So then why not? What's not an extra $4 for me to go watch it? But now you're asking for almost double that for me to watch boxing? I don't like boxing. What would be the ideal price for WWE OnlyFans? Me being the person who I am, I'm cheap, I don't like to spend money. I would say $9.99. But the days of things being $9.99 have gone wayside because the $9.99 format was used from everybody from Planet Fitness to Netflix to Hulu to WWE Network because the money was so low. $9.99 was such a low amount you wouldn't see it leaving your account, really. So for me saying for the WWE Network in this day and age, if it was still around, for me to pay $9.99 for a pro wrestling content, I think that's thievery. So what I'd be willing to pay, I would say make the price $12 a month. I'm willing to pay $11.99. You know what? Even $16.99 per month just for it, that's what I would think is fair. I think that the Fandango deal with WWE, I'm not talking about the wrestler. I'm talking about the deal where you can watch WWE PLEs in select movie theaters. I think that it should be spread out nationwide and not just to select cities. Even if the city's hosting the event, maybe you show it there. Maybe put up some full matches on YouTube 7 days after, so you drive everybody towards that main product of paying the $30 a month if that's what y'all want. But maybe put it up there $7 7 days after. Let me show you the Intercontinental match between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Maybe that'll work. One free PLE a year to hook fans. Well, you know what? It sounds like we're going to be getting PLEs that are not the big four. It's not going to be the big four. It's not going to be SummerSlam, WrestleMania, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series. It doesn't sound like it's going to be that. Because if you think it's going to be that, you're in trouble. They're already planning to put a few on TV, and like I said, don't hold your breath. It's not WrestleMania. Use WWE. What I would do is I would use ESPN to cross-promote WWE with other sports and not just bury it behind the clutter the way that Peacock does. They do plan to, ESPN does plan, they do have the rights to create an ESPN-style show that is based off WWE like SportsCenter. If anybody's listening, I am available. I live in New York, and it's not a hard travel for me to get to the studio. I'm in New York. So if you're looking for somebody, I promise I won't crash out if you get me on SportsCenter, WWE, and I will talk about WWE like an informed person, because I can do that. But should WWE consider running a tiered system again like they teased way before? At this point, I don't even know. Because at the time when they talked about it, to the time now, the time is different. Do you think that fans will organize watch parties again? Honestly, it would happen, but it might not happen as quickly. The reason why it might not happen as quickly is because we've been so accustomed for the past couple of years to watching our own houses. I watch on my phone while I'm working. Well, in between breaks. So you're not allowed to use your phone when you're working, so I'm not saying that. watch parties might work. Blast areas might come back to where you can go to a bar and watch wrestling on a Sunday night. I think that's great. Saturday night, I think that's great. But up next, I'm going to give you my final thoughts. And let's go to the chat. Let's see. Universal says, so the WWE Network failed. Yeah, it did. It didn't make as much money or get as many subscribers as Vince McMahon and those at the top of WWE wanted at the time. But you know what? Because it failed for them doesn't mean that it was bad for fans. I think what WWE needed to do is that maybe they need to charge a little bit more, right? Because maybe somebody was saying, well, I only watch WrestleMania once a year. I'll only spend the $40 on the $50 on WrestleMania, because there used to be $50 on pay-per-view. So they'll spend the $50 on WrestleMania and save the other $100 and whatever, the $60, $80 a year that they would spend buying the $9.99 per month. So maybe that's why it failed. Or maybe people were still doing watch parties at the time. I don't know. Let's see. He says, seems like this was fail as well. What do I think? WWE on Peacock failed. I think that WWE on Peacock failed because it wasn't user-friendly. If WWE makes it into a YouTube-only thing, and it's only because people are just clamoring, they're chomping at the bit, and it's safer for WWE just to have somebody host their PLEs for them. If WWE went to where you'd purchase a membership on their YouTube channel, and once a month you would go ahead and get that PLE, I think it'd be worth it. I think it'd be worth it all the way. But it makes a lot more sense for them to have ESPN do it because they make a couple $1 billion off of it. And they didn't even sell them the content library. Tristan, do you remember when you were a kid and you had to pay $50 to watch pay-per-view content? I'm going to tell you something. Universal, when I was a kid, we had a box that allowed us to watch it. So we weren't paying for it. We just paid the cable bill. But when I was an adult and I was living on my own, yes, I remember paying $50. This is like, let's see, when was I adult? 2023 is when I first started watching it. 2023 to like 2007. I remember paying $50 for some events. Yeah. Universal says that many years ago they tried the movie theater pay-per-views and it failed. Which is why I think that if they do it but at the time, tickets weren't that expensive. I remember going to SummerSlam 2018 at the Barclays, buying tickets last minute, spending maybe $150, and I still got decent seats. If you spent $150 at SummerSlam this past weekend, you were way up in the top. So close you could probably high-five God. WWE tried to co-promote with Fox and it failed. Yeah. I don't think it was at the right time, and I'm going to blame the pandemic on that as well too. The pandemic ruined a lot of things for people. ESPN's been losing money for years, and ratings similar to WWE's rating are at all-time lows. You're right, but if WWE's ratings were so low, would ESPN pay for them? The way that I'm looking at it is like this: ratings don't really matter anymore. It's about your trending on YouTube, trending on Google search, trending on social media, your views, your watch time, your click-through rate, your retention. I think all of those are very important today. And the reason why I think that those are very important today is because at the end of the day, those are what advertisers want to pay for. Advertisers, if they're smart, they're transitioning away from regular television and going digital all the way. Kyle Bruce checks in. Nitro parties will be a thing again in 2026. Let me know, Kyle. I'll bring the beer. So with WWE going to ESPN starting in 2026, WWE is at risk of becoming appointment viewing for people with only $30 a month to watch, people that have a disposable income. Theater events are a nice touch, but they don't replace the accessibility because it's still almost $30 a month for one event and you can't replay it. Diehards will pay for it. Like the big wrestling fans, they will pay for it. But will anyone else even know where to look? The casuals? I'm sure WWE will do a good job mentioning it, but the casual fans who say, yeah, let me go on Peacock, they want to go, and it's not on Peacock. If the goal is to make wrestling global, accessible, and cultural, this is not the way. I'll always love pro wrestling. Always. Till the day that they dig the hole and put me in there and seal me away, seal my body away. You know that I'll always love pro wrestling. But I am not blind to the flaws. I invite you to sound off. Are you going to be paying that $30 a month? We did get one person that said that WWE events on ESPN are worth the $30 a month. I would think that they're just a regular fan as well. They're a fan, and they also like other sports as well, too. That's a win. That's a win. If there was a Jeopardy channel and a Wheel of Fortune channel and a channel that showed, an app that showed Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and the People's Court, and they took the WWE there and charged $30 a month, I would pay the $30 a month. But this newer version, it doesn't work for me. So we got 10% that said yes, 62% that said 60% that said no, and 30% said that they're not sure. Would you go to a theater to watch a WWE show? Is WWE turning its back on its most loyal fans? Is WWE pricing you out of the market? Join the conversation. Whether you're watching live or on demand, share this. Like, share, subscribe. Don't make me a little dirty secret. We had such a fun time talking about WWE going to ESPN and charging you $30. $30 here in America. Don't make me a dirty secret. If you like what I did, like, share, and subscribe. Send it to somebody that's going to like this. I'm Tristan Law. This is the Tristan Law Show. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Flashing red light.